Good afternoon, students. In the last video, I have explained about the test data and the different techniques of test data. The next concept is procedure to conduct the audit. So there are various procedure to conduct the audit. We'll see one by one. The first one is determination of nature and scope. The instructions of the client regarding the nature, scope and objective should be obtained in certain and unambiguous terms. If the instructions are vague, then they may create confusion and problems during investigation. So the auditor has to get the instructions of the client regarding the nature, scope and objective of the company or of their business. If the instructions are not correct, or if he has not taken proper instructions, then it may create confusion and problems during the investigation of the transaction. So the instructions should cover the area of the investigation and the purpose of investigation and the period to be investigated. So here the auditor, before going to investigate, what he has to do, he has to get a clear instruction from his client means from the company in which he is going to investigate, that means checking the books of accounts. So he has to, the investigation, the instructions means he has to get the instruction. The instruction means it should include the area of investigation. Maybe half year, how many months they have to check the books of accounts, maybe quarterly or a half year, 6 months or 3 months. He has to ask that. Then the purpose, why they are investigating, why they have to do the investigation. So then the period to be investigated. So how many days, or in how many months they have to investigate or check the books of accounts. So all these instructions the auditor has to get beforehand. The next one is the formulation of investigation. So the formulation of investigation program. An investigation program cannot be fixed and rigid. The actual investigation procedures at each stage have to be programmed depending upon the various developments in the course of the investigation. So here next, after taking the information, after getting the information from his client, the auditor has to schedule, he has to plan how he is going to investigate the transactions or the books of accounts of a particular company. He has to plan that. So if it is fixed, means whatever he has planned, if it is fixed, cannot be changed, means it is very difficult. So it should be like flexible to change, because then the actual investigation procedures at each stage should be programmed. They have to plan, he has to plan in advance, and it should be depending on the various developments in the course of the investigation. The next is the findings of the previous steps will decide the further course of the investigation. While formulating the investigation program, the broad scope and limits are to be determined. So he has to see, he has to check how many books he has to investigate. So, and what are the limits. So everything he has to plan in advance. Then the list of records and documents to be verified are to be determined at this stage, and keeping in view the objectives and purpose of the investigation. While checking the books of accounts, he has to keep in his mind the objective and what is the purpose of this investigation. Then he has to do the investigation, and he has to list out the number of records and documents that he has to verify or investigate. That is the second step. The third step is the conduct of investigation. After planning everything, then he has to a thorough investigation, that is examination of various records and documents, and examination of various persons of the concern relating to the investigation area are to be conducted. So after planning everything, then he has to start the investigation. So he has to check all the books, records, then if there are any persons relating to the transaction, then he has to investigate. He can investigate everyone. At every stage, the investigator may decide the further course of investigation based on the circumstances and various findings. So based on the circumstances and the findings, then he can go for the further investigation. If he if he finds anything messy, if any transaction is wrong, then he can ask the related person. Then the investigator shall maintain an exhaustive record of work done, evidences examined, then important discussions held as evidence for the investigation conducted. So he has to maintain record of work done. It should include the evidences examined, what and all he has checked evidences, then important discussions held with the particular persons. Then all these things should be in recorded, because it is the evidence for the investigation conducted. It is proof that the auditor has conducted the investigation. The record maintained by the investigator along with the support document may form the basis for the formulation of the conclusion and preparation of the investigation report. So here the record maintained by the investigator along with supporting documents, it may form the basis for the formulation of the conclusion. He can, with help of that, he can draw the conclusion and then he can prepare the investigation report. So the last step is the investigation report. Here the investigator may correlate all his findings, analyze all the supporting documents and statements, then thoroughly examine the investigation records and draw conclusion. So here he will analyze everything, whatever he has done, the findings, then all the documents, then statements thoroughly. He will check everything. Based on that, he will prepare the investigation. He will draw the record and he will write the conclusion and he will write the report. While doing so, he must have an open mind, free from preconceived notions. He should be free. There won't be any restrictions while doing this. Then, what are the contents of the investigations reports? The investigator may draft the investigation report. The report may contain the purpose and the scope of the investigation. So, what are the things that should be there in the investigation report? The first one is it should include the purpose and the scope of the investigation. Next is the period covered by the investigation. Next is the terms of investigation with reference to the written instructions of the client. So what is the term of investigation? And then with the written instructions of the clients, that is the about of the business. Then the various limitations faced by the investigator that may materially affected the conclusion drawn should be mentioned. Then the assumption forms the basis of investigation. Then the assumption should not defeat very purpose of the investigation. Then the investigation report should contain heading with subheadings, charts, graphs, etc. So while writing the report, it should include everything. So like what is if the sales is increasing, if the profit of the business is increasing, then he has to make a chart and or graph. Then he has to show that. Then conclusion of the investigator should be stated as clear and certain terms. So here the auditor will investigator will draw the conclusion that should be clear and certain in a certain term. Then the supporting documents, that is documentary evidences, maybe invoice or proofs and data may be presented as appendices to the reports. If he has mentioning that if there is any mistake in particular transaction, he has to that one he if he has writing in his report, then he has to attach the documentary evidence. So what is the evidence for that? If he has mentioning that the company is not following the rules, then he should have the proof for that, then that should be attached to the report. So all these are the procedures to conduct the audit. So all these procedures should be adopted by the investigator or auditor while conducting the audit of a particular business or anything. So this is about that. Thank you.